Hello students, today we will be completing the second part of refraction through spherical surface. The first part was convex surface and today we are continuing with the second part, concave surface. That means here the complete medium is rarer medium mu1 and here the complete medium is denser medium mu2. Now the line which is dividing the rarer and denser medium, that is not a straight line now, that is a curved line. And this curve is also of which shape? Concave shape. Okay. Now we need to draw the image formation and with the help of that image formation we will derive the relation between u and v. Let us start now. First of all, we need to take an object on the principal axis. Then we will make incident one ray on this separation line. This is called incident ray. Now this ray, its path is this, okay, but it will not go straight because the medium has changed. So we need to draw first of all the normal, okay, wherever the separation line is appearing, there we need to draw the normal so that it will be decided that where the ray will go. So according to the rule of refraction, if we are moving from rarer to denser medium, if the ray is moving from rarer to denser medium, so the ray should turn towards the normal. So let us draw the normal. So suppose, okay, so because this surface is concave surface, so its center, if we complete the circle, it will be completed here. So its center is here somewhere. So let us draw the center of curvature. Suppose it is here. So the line which is passing through the center of curvature, that will be normal. This line, red line, is the normal. Okay, this line is normal. Now, where the ray will go after refraction? See, this is our incident ray and this is its actual path, but it will not go along the actual path. It should turn either towards the normal or away from the normal. So we are going from rarer to denser. That's why the ray should turn towards the normal. So you can see the ray should go in this dashed manner, but it has turned towards the normal. Okay, so this is our refracted ray. This middle line is the refracted ray. This middle ray. Okay, now where this ray will meet on the principal axis, there the image will be formed. But you can see in this case, principal axis is here and this refracted ray is going in this direction. So they are never going to meet. That's why no real image will be formed. Okay, so this side no real image is formed. That means actually these two things are not meeting. For making the image, the two rays should meet. So one ray we have considered as principal axis only because this is normal incidence, and the second ray is refracted ray, this blue one, middle one, but this is not meeting. If this is not meeting this side, so we need to extend it behind. So this refracted ray, we will be extending it behind. Okay, so the middle ray, this middle ray, this we are extending behind. Wherever it will meet the principal axis, there the virtual image will be formed. Why virtual image? Because actually the rays are not meeting. Refracted ray is not meeting with the principal axis. We extended it behind and then wherever it is meeting with the principal axis, there virtual image is formed. This is virtual image. In case of convex surface, their real image was formed. Now we need to derive the relation between u, v and r. So let us draw all that things here. So first of all, as is the procedure, we need to show all the angles. 5 angles we need to show. I will show you what are that angles. The angle between incident ray and normal. Okay, incident ray is this and normal is this. The angle between these two is called I. Okay, this angle is called I. Then the angle between normal and refracted ray, this small angle, this is called R, refraction angle. Now refraction angle we will be needing this side. So let us take vertically opposite angle. Take care of which two rays we have taken. Red line is normal and this actual line is middle line. refracted ray is this line. So here angle R is formed. Okay. Now what are the angles, other angles? So that are alpha, beta, gamma. Alpha angle you have to take at object, beta at image, and gamma at C, center of curvature. Now to find the relation of all these angles, you will be needing the normal also. So we need to draw here one normal so that the triangle is completed this way. Now this normal is drawn. It will help us to calculate the alpha, beta, gamma angles. So let us start writing the Snell's law. So as we start, the ray is moving from one medium to two medium. So we should write it this way: 1 mu 2 equal to sin I upon sin R. Now 1 mu 2 can be written as mu 2 upon mu 1, and sin I upon sin R by approximation. If the angles are smaller, then sin theta becomes theta. So sin I becomes I and sin R becomes R. After that, take these last expressions and cross multiply. So mu 2 R equal to mu 1 I. Mu 2 R equal to mu 1 I. After that, we have to find R and I from the diagram. So we have to take the help of exterior and interior angle property. First of all, for I, you have to see, for I angle, you have to see this AOC triangle. AOC triangle. In triangle AOC, angle I is interior angle. Other interior angle is alpha, and for them the exterior angle is gamma. So gamma equal to alpha plus I. This way I equal to gamma minus alpha. I is solved. Okay. Now let us solve the other angle R. So where is R? You need to search that R angle. So you can see R angle is here. It is interior. Beta is another interior of the same triangle, and gamma is exterior. So gamma equal to beta plus R. So R equal to gamma minus beta. So we have solved I also, we have solved R also. Now we have to substitute it in this relation. So let us start substituting. Mu 2 R value, gamma minus beta, and mu 1 I value. I value is gamma minus alpha. Now gamma value will be related to the R, radius of curvature. You have to take all gamma values on one side. So mu 2 gamma minus mu 1 gamma here, and mu 1 alpha and mu 2 alpha, mu 2 beta shifted here. All gamma values should be shifted one side. So mu 2 gamma here, mu 1 gamma in minus sign will be shifted here. Then mu 1 alpha is here only, minus sign, and mu 2 beta is shifted that side. Now with the help of again this property, that if theta is small, tan theta becomes theta. So here every angle, okay, like gamma I will write tan gamma, alpha I will write tan alpha. We have replaced. Here gamma is common. So gamma taken common, mu 2 minus mu 1 is in the bracket, and gamma approximately we have written as tan gamma. In the same manner, all the angles you have to write as tan angle. So mu 1 alpha, alpha means tan alpha, beta, beta means tan beta. Now this expression has come. This will help us to calculate the relation of distances. So because tan theta formula is perpendicular upon base, so we will solve now all the angles. Tan gamma, you have to solve tan gamma. So you have to see this triangle ANC. In this perpendicular upon base is tan gamma. Okay, so this way AN upon NC is tan gamma, AN upon NC. Now tan alpha means see this bigger triangle, tan alpha. So perpendicular AN upon base NO, NO will come. Then tan beta, for tan beta also see that triangle in which beta is one angle. Beta is here, so you need to see this smaller triangle AIN, perpendicular upon IN. That is the formula written. Now here we will take one approximation and will cancel also the similar terms. Similar terms are numerators AN, AN, AN. This will be cancelled. Now denominators. Denominators are all the distances are measured from N, NC, NO, NI. But we will take an approximation. Since N and P means pole of the surface, they are very close to each other. So whatever distance is measured with respect to N, like NC, that is approximately equal to PC, because N and P points are very close. So here we will replace all N distances with in form of P distances. Like NC will become PC, NO will become PO, like that. So AN cancelled, and NC means PC, NO means PO, NI means PI. AN is cancelled, you can see. So you have got the first relation which you should remember. So that this relation is between PO, PI, PC distances for concave surface. Now we can take the sign conventions and we can replace all PO, PI, PC. So sign convention says that on whichever side the object is, that all distances are negative. So since the object is here, this side, pole is 0, this side distances are negative, this side distances are positive. Okay, we can show it this way. Pole is 0 of the surface, this side negative distances, and this side, right side of the pole, positive distances. So you can see NO distances or PO distances appearing here. PO means object distance, it is denoted by U. PO distance means U, but it will be minus U because it is this side. Then PI, image distance we call V, but it is also on the object side only, so negative. And PC is called R, radius of curvature, but it is also on the object side only, so all distances are negative distances. So we will be replacing as mu2 minus mu1 upon minus R. PC means minus R, PO means minus U, and PI means minus V. So finally you can see everywhere minus sign is there, so it can be taken common and cancelled. So minus sign cancelled everywhere. Mu2 minus mu1 upon R, minus mu1 upon U, mu2 upon V. One minus sign is cancelled everywhere. So this is the final relation between, means among U, V and R. Final answer is this. Okay. Now we are going to solve the Lensmaker's formula using the conclusions of convex and concave surfaces. Note down this derivation. Students, Lensmaker's formula is very important formula which helps us to decide the R1 and R2 values for a given focal length lens. So once the focal length is given to us, then we can decide that how much cut should be given to the lens. That means R1 and R2 should be what? So the relation between focal length, the medium's refractive index, that means generally the lenses are made up of glass and glass has mu 1.5. So the relation among focal length, refractive index of the material of lens and radii of curvature of both the sides, that relation is called Lensmaker's formula. Okay, now we are going to derive this Lensmaker's formula. So let us start now. First of all, we need to draw the image formation. So it will be this way. If this type of lens is given to us, which is biconvex lens. Okay, now how to draw its image formation? So first of all, we will take object on the rarer side. See, this side and this side rarer medium is there, only this side is denser medium. Mu2 we can call it. So here also mu1, here also mu1 is there. Now how the image formation will be drawn? You need to take a ray on the first surface. This is our first surface, this is our second surface. What will happen now? First of all, the ray is moving from rarer to denser medium. This is rarer medium and this side it is denser medium, this side it is rarer medium. Initially a ray is falling on from the rarer medium to denser medium, that means it is getting inside the lens. Now we need to draw the normal first so that we can find out the path of the ray. So this ray's actual path should be this, but we need to draw the normal to find its path, where it will bend. So because the first surface is convex surface, its center of curvature will be here somewhere. We will call its first center of curvature C1. The normal for this surface will be passing through this center of curvature. Okay. Now this line is normal. Now where this our original ray will go, so because we are entering from rarer to denser medium, so it should turn towards the normal. So this way it will turn towards the normal. Okay, this will be the bent ray. You must have understood. Original ray, then this is normal. We are going from rarer to denser medium, so it should turn towards the normal. Now it will go in the straight line till the time it is the same medium, but again as soon as the ray has reached here, we are again entering from denser to rarer medium. So here we again need the help of normal. Now this is concave surface. Its center of curvature will be here, C2. So first of all we have to draw the normal. Second, this is second normal. Now this ray, if there is no change of medium, it should pass like this. So intermediate image should be formed here, but actually this ray has to bend. So where this ray will move, now this ray, it is entering from denser to rarer medium. So rarer means it should turn away from the normal. That's why it will turn like this. Okay, this ray was coming from denser medium. It is entering into the rarer medium. So it should turn away from the normal. So wherever it will meet now on the principal axis, there is the final image formed. This is our final image, I. So this is intermediate image. That means only using the first surface, here the image would be formed. But actually there are two surfaces, so final image will be formed here. Okay. Now we need to know the relation of this relation we have to derive. So we will be first taking the help of final conclusions of convex and concave surface. So these are the original conclusions for convex surface, object in rarer medium, this relation we obtain, and for concave surface, if object is in denser medium, then this relation we obtained. We have to learn these relations. Now we have to do some changes. If there is only one surface, then we measure all the distances from the pole. But for the lens case, there is the optical center. So instead of poles, we have to write that all the distances are measured from C. So here first thing is that we will be changing all the poles with respect, in place of C we have to write. Okay, all the pole distances, all the distances measured from poles, we have to replace them by C. Okay, now other than that, the second thing will be what? That for the first surface, object is O, and for the first surface the image is I1. So here we will write I1. Okay, and PC means center of curvature. So for first surface the center of curvature is C1. In the same manner for second surface. For the second surface the original ray was coming this. That means object is considered I1 and image is considered I. So for object we will write I1 and for image we will write I. Distances will be measured from C and this is C2, this is C. Here the distances are measured from center of curvature C2. So you have to understand these changes. All poles are C. Here object is O, image is I1, and this PC1 means CC1. Then here object is I1, image is I, and PC2 means CC2. Okay, so we are writing both the equations. Finally we will get these two equations. Now we can learn directly also these two equations directly. Now without applying the sign conventions, we will be merging both the equations. So you can see here mu2 upon Ci1 is there, here also mu2 upon Ci1 is there in minus sign. So what we can do now to obtain this relation, we have to add the two equations so that this intermediate term is cancelled. So let us move to the next sheet, note down the diagram and equations. So after adding the two equations, mu1 upon CO, mu2 upon Ci1 minus mu2 upon Ci1, mu1 upon Ci. And this side mu2 minus mu1 was common in both the equations. 1 upon Cc1 plus 1 upon Cc2 obtained. So the intermediate term will be cancelled, that means similar term. Now what is left? Mu1 upon CO, mu1 upon Ci, this side. So what we can do now, we can take all sign conventions and we can replace with the actual symbols. Let us start doing. CO is the object distance, and because it is this side, so it is negative side. So we will write minus u for CO. Then come to CI. CI is this side distance, CI means image distance V, and because it is this side, so it is positive side. So negative side, positive side. Then mu2 minus mu1, CC1. CC1 is radius of curvature R1 and positive side. CC2 is this side, so radius of curvature R2 but of minus sign. So we have got this relation. Now this relation is in terms of mu1, mu2 both. What we can do, we can make single mu. So as you already know, 1 mu2 is mu2 upon mu1. So 1 mu2 we can call mu also. Okay, we can call 1 mu2 as mu. Okay, so what we will do, mu2 upon mu1 we want. So this complete equation we will divide by mu1, this whole equation. So if we divide the complete equation by mu1, so mu1 upon mu1 will get cancelled. Here we will get minus 1 by u. Here also mu1 cancelled, we will get 1 by u. Here mu2 upon mu1, we will call it mu. Mu1 upon mu1, we will call it 1. So we have got this type of equation. Now almost you can see the right side of the equation we have obtained. Now left side of the equation, we have to use the image formation of first principal focus and second principal focus for replacing this term by focal length. That is the correct procedure. So now what we will take now, the first principal focus is defined as whenever the rays are coming parallel to principal axis, that means from infinite, wherever they meet after refraction, that point is called first principal focus. So we will substitute this u and v value here. So since the object rays are from infinite, so u is infinite, and by sign convention minus infinite because it is coming from this side. This side distances are negative. And v means where the image is formed, that is at f1. So in place of v, we are putting f1. Right side is the same. Okay, so 1 by infinite is 0. So 1 by f1 is this answer. Now let us take the second case also. Second principal focus is that point where if the object is kept, then after refraction, the rays go parallel. Parallel means image will be formed at infinite. So u means f2 and v means infinite. We are going to put here. So minus 1 by u. So 1 minus sign is that from the equation, and since u is minus side of f2, this side it is. So u is minus f2, v is plus infinite, and right side of the equation is the same, which is this equation. Now 1 by infinite is here also 0 and minus minus cancelled. So 1 by f2 answer obtained. So you can notice that 1 by f1 answer and 1 by f2 answer is obtained same. So we will write them that they are equal. So 1 by f1 and 1 by f2, since they are same, so we can call them by a common name now, 1 by f. That's why 1 by f1 you replace by 1 by f and right side is the same. So this way we don't have to reach it directly. We have to take these two steps. So 1 by f1 and 1 by f2 we will apply, and this way we will get the final answer. So finally this equation which is obtained, that is called Lensmaker's formula. So this is the proof. Now using the Lensmaker's formula, if it is asked that derive the thin lens formula also. So what is the thin lens formula, that I will tell you. Here on the top you see. You can see that thin lens formula is that usual formula which we apply for the UVF relation. So minus 1 by u plus 1 by v equal to 1 by f. This is called our thin lens formula. Okay, remember this formula. Now in a derivation of Lensmaker's formula, if it is asked, hence obtain thin lens formula. So what you have to do, you have to only do two steps. that this equation is equation number A, in which right side is this and left side minus 1 by u plus 1 by v is appearing. And the final Lensmaker's formula, this you can call equation B, and you can write that if A and B equation we compare, then since right side are same, so left sides are also same. So by comparing A and B equations, that means this and this equation, we obtain minus 1 by u plus 1 by v equal to 1 by f. So this is thin lens formula and this is Lensmaker's formula. Lensmaker's formula, thin lens formula. Okay students.